This is the 18 WJTS News. In tonight's news, standing room only as the Indiana Department of Environmental Management hears comments on a proposed coal to diesel plant in Dale. Spencer County had the second highest voter turnout in the recent general election in Indiana. Local law enforcement officials were busy Wednesday with accidents and arrests. In sports, Kirk Guxell previews Jasper Wildcat basketball with Coach John Gable. On WJTS Informed tonight, the SILD Marines join us to talk about Toys for Tots. All this and more coming up next on 18 WJTS News. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Bill Potter with the WJTS News. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management held an air quality permit public hearing at the auditorium of Heritage Hills High School Wednesday night in regards to the Riverview Energy's coal to diesel refinery. There was standing room only in the packed house, filled with local residents opposed to the refinery and local union workers in support of it, all carrying signs and matching apparel to show the support or opposition. At the core of the discussion was the proposed $2.5 billion plant that will sit within the city limits of Dale. Opinions were passionately shared, with one speaker noting that the issue has become even more divisive than the 2016 election. For those who stand against the plant, the issue is about public health. The refinery will stand 1 mile away from an elementary school and 2 nursing homes. According to a 2016 report by the Environmental Protection Agency, Indiana ranks 6th in the most toxic states in the U.S., with Spencer County ranking 23rd among the most toxic counties in the entire country. To add fuel to the fire, IDEM used a baseline monitor in South Bend to check pollution levels for the permit for this refinery in Spencer County. In addition, there were those who felt that to have such a facility in Dale will have a negative impact on the quality of life beyond just health. For those in support, this refinery is seen as a way to improve the economy of Spencer County, an opportunity for more jobs, ones that offer far more than minimum wage. The Riverview refinery, if built, would bring 225 jobs with an additional 2,000 temporary construction jobs to build it. It is seen as a big step in economic growth. This line of reasoning was questioned by some. Spencer County's unemployment rate was only 3.3% in October, and currently there are dozens of jobs vacant from area employers, including those in surrounding counties that would qualify as high-paying jobs. For some, the issue of employment was more about convincing people to move to the area for jobs, and it was questioned whether this refinery would even be built, even if the permit is approved. The suggestion that the county doesn't need the jobs received some scoffs from the crowd. No decision was made Wednesday night, as this was just a chance for the public to make comments and ask questions. If you would like to make a comment or express your views to IDEM, you still have time to send a written comment, either by email or mail. You can send email comments to Doug Logan at dlogan@idem.in.gov or mail it to 100 North Senate Avenue, MC 61-53, IGCN 1003, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. The mail has to be postmarked by December 10th. Deputies with the DuBois County Sheriff's Department were kept quite busy Wednesday morning and early afternoon with several vehicle accidents, a couple involving personal injury, one perhaps life-threatening. First, deputies were called to the scene of a 2-vehicle accident at the intersection of State Roads 162 and 64 at the Brettsville Junction, in which 3 people were injured. Just after 6 a.m. yesterday, authorities say 49-year-old Sarah Cox of English was traveling in her passenger car west along State Road 64, while a pickup being driven by 48-year-old Jose Gonzalez of Huntingburg was headed east along Highway 64. Deputies say Cox failed to yield the right-of-way and turned her car into the path of Gonzalez's truck, striking it head-on. Both Cox and Gonzalez, along with a passenger in his pickup, 59-year-old Alba Vasquez, also of Huntingburg, were taken by ambulance to Memorial Hospital in Jasper with unspecified injuries. No charges have been filed as of yet, and both vehicles were a total loss. The DuBois County Sheriff's Department was assisted at the scene by the St. Anthony Fire Department and Memorial Hospital Emergency Medical Services. About 45 minutes later, the Sheriff's Department received a report of a one-vehicle accident along State Road 545 in northeast DuBois County. Deputies say around 6:50 a.m. yesterday, a pickup driven by 17-year-old Caden Breeding of DuBois was headed south on State Road 545 about 250 feet south of County Road 450 north, when authorities say he lost control of his truck on an ice-covered bridge. Breeding's truck traveled left of the roadway's center line and across the northbound lane and struck the bridge's concrete barrier. Breeding was not injured in the accident and was able to drive his pickup away from the scene despite receiving $1,000 damage. There was no damage to the concrete barrier. No charges were filed. One person was flown to a regional hospital after receiving what was described as life-threatening injuries Wednesday morning after his pickup was involved in a rollover crash along Old Huntingburg Road. Deputies say the accident took place just south of County Road 150 South shortly before 8:30 a.m. When they arrived, authorities observed a pickup truck on its top off the east side of the roadway. They say the truck appeared to have rolled over several times after going off the east side of the roadway before stopping. The male driver, who deputies have not identified, was unresponsive when emergency crews arrived and CPR was administered at the scene. He was taken to Memorial Hospital in Jasper by EMS, then later flown to Deaconess Hospital in Evansville. Authorities say because of the severity of his injuries and the uncertainty of his condition, no further information is being released at this time. Updated information will likely be released later on. In a fourth accident Wednesday, a Snellville man escaped injury when his dump truck went off the roadway after blowing a tire. Just before 1 p.m. yesterday, the DuBois County Sheriff's Department was called to State Road 64, about 1,600 feet east of Snellville in Jefferson Township. It was there, deputies say, 61-year-old David Sheeter of Snellville was headed west along Highway 64 when a tire blew out on the front passenger side of his 2016 Freightliner dump truck. The blowout caused his truck to go off the north side of the roadway and into a ditch, coming to rest on its side. The accident caused between $5,000 to $10,000 damage. Once again, Sheeter was not injured and no charges were filed. State Road 64 was closed at the scene for about half an hour. Jasper police are seeking your assistance from the public to identify multiple suspects allegedly involved in a theft at Walmart earlier this week. Police say the thefts took place around 10:12 p.m. this past Tuesday, December 4th. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the Jasper Police Department at 812-482-2255 or on the anonymous tip line. That's 812-481-2677 or 481-COPS. 2677. You can see the surveillance photo again on our website at WJTS.tv. And a traffic stop turned into a trio of drug arrests in Lagodi. A deputy with Martin County Sheriff's Department was patrolling Park Street in Lagodi when he met a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed on the wrong side of the road. After pulling his vehicle off the road to avoid a collision, the deputy began a pursuit, and authorities say the vehicle pulled into the Red Wing trailer court and the driver exited on foot. 2 female passengers were detained and assistance was requested by the department's K-9 unit. Deputies identified the female passengers as Alaya Bricker and Aquania Ingram, both of Frankfurt. While on his way to assist, a deputy observed a male suspect, who was later identified as Jordan Taylor of Lagodi, walking away from the scene near Bowling Manufacturing and detained him. When they arrived at the vehicle, the K-9 performed a free air sniff around the exterior of the vehicle and immediately gave an indication of narcotics near the rear passenger side door. Deputies then searched the vehicle and found both drugs and paraphernalia. Taylor denied being in the vehicle, but deputies report finding his identification card in the vehicle, and witnesses, and a witness that is, identified him as the driver. Taylor, Bricker, and Ingram were taken to Martin County Jail. A check on Ingram showed she was wanted for drug offenses in Carroll and Boone counties. Taylor faces charges of resisting law enforcement, possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia, false informing, reckless driving, driving while suspended with a prior conviction, and leaving the scene of an accident. He is being held at the Martin County Jail on a $50,000 bond. Bricker was charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of paraphernalia. She is being held on $25,000 bond. And Ingram was charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of paraphernalia. She was also being held on a $25,000 bond. Martin County deputies were assisted by the Lagodi Police Department, the Shoals Town Marshal's Office, and the Indiana State Police at the Jasper Post. Officials with the city of Jasper want to alert motorists near the city's downtown area that beginning Friday, Knies Construction will be closing West 9th Street from Main Street to 75 feet east of Newton Street, as well as hold traffic restriction from the southbound lane of Main Street from 9th to 8th Streets. These closings and restrictions are being put in place as the company prepares for a building demolition at that vicinity. These streets will be reopened by Friday evening and remain open until Monday morning, December 10th, at which time these closings will remain in effect for the duration of the project, which is expected to last approximately 1 week. Motorists will need to avoid this area. Residents of Jasper can now pick up a copy of the city's 2019 calendars. Calendars are now ready and are available at the reception desk of Jasper City Hall at 610 Main on the downtown Jasper Square, Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. The Jasper Municipal Utility Office on the east side of Jasper City Hall, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Jasper Police Department at 309 East 6th Street at any time, and the Jasper Park and Recreation Office, Older American Center at 1301 St. Charles Street in Jasper from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have questions, contact Jasper City Hall at 812-482-4255, 812-482-4255. Diane Snyder, current executive director of the Daviess County Community Corrections, has announced her intentions to seek the office of mayor of the city of Washington. Snyder made the announcement for her candidacy in front of Washington City Hall Tuesday afternoon. Snyder told the crowd of friends and family and supporters that she feels her current job and her experience on the Board of Public Works and Safety has prepared her to be mayor. She is the first female candidate ever to run for mayor of Washington. Last month, current Mayor Joe Wellman announced that he would retire at the end of his current term, opening a vacancy on the 2019 ballot. Snyder's announcement leads into Indiana's early February deadline for candidates to file for the municipal primary election. Speaking of elections, voter participation in Indiana's fall election was 51%, the first time since 1994 that the state topped 50% in a midterm election. Secretary of State Connie Lawson announced the results along with a report on each county. Henry County had the highest turnout in Indiana with 64% of registered voters casting a ballot. Spencer County was second at 62%. Pike, Martin, and Perry counties were at 59%. DuBois County was at 58%. Daviess County, 50%. Vigo and Madison counties had the lowest turnout at 44% of registered voters. In Switzerland County in southeastern Indiana, 69% of ballots were cast early or through the mail. Now stay tuned. Weather, sports, and more still to come on 18 WJTS News.